Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bladensburg Town Council work session for Monday, June 10th, 2025. It is hard to believe it is already June, but here we are. We are now called to order. At this time, we will proceed down the agenda, beginning with item 2, which is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion? Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any changes or comments regarding the agenda before calling the vote? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the motion. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. The agenda is passed. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We'll begin with 3A on the agenda, which is Town of Bladensburg Budget Review Session Meeting Minutes for May the 9th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember McBride. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any edits or corrections to the May 9th meeting minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. The May 9th meeting minutes are approved. Next, we'll proceed to the meeting minutes for the work session for Monday, May 12th, 2025 for our regular monthly work session. Is there a motion to approve the work session minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any corrections or comments regarding the minutes? I just want to note, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth's name has an A in there instead of E. So there were a couple places if that can be corrected, but I didn't see any substantial edits that would amend the original intent of the minutes. If there are no other edits or corrections, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. And I do want to note, Councilmember Dixon did ask to be excused tonight. Her flight was delayed and is prohibiting her from being here to join us tonight. So wanted to reflect that in the record as well. Next, we'll move on to the hot topic for today, financial business. Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth, we'll turn it over to you.
Good evening, Mayor Council. I have the pleasure of presenting the FY26 fiscal year budget, and this is I think the 10th time that we will be talking about this budget, and I'm very excited to close it out. I want to just kind of give you a quick overview of where we started and where we are right now. Back in February, at our first version, we had a total deficit at about $1.5 million. And over the last 9 meetings, we've sort of whittled that down. Part of that was in regards to looking at the way that we structured our compensation and removing the COLA and merit in the second meeting that we looked at in March. We also looked at where we are with property taxes on some of the different areas, and that was also reflected in the March and April meetings. We added some of the information from the CDBG budgets and the police donations budget to try to offset it as well. The one change really is the change to real property for the commercial and industrial properties, a change from 76 cents to 85 cents. That moved our property taxes to $5 million from previously being closer to $4 million. So that helped to 4.8. So that helped us about $500,000 between that and changing our personal property taxes, our business license tax fees, and also adding some things as where our employees are taking some sacrifices this year we increased the amount for our insurance deductions, and we've also increased the amount for people who have take-home vehicles. So those were all reflected in our March and April versions. the last few months, we've been just in April, late April, early May, we looked at our things like our franchise fees, which I think which we have noted in the most recent budget. They've gone down about $20,000 from last year. At our height, the town was getting about $130,000. We're currently around $60,000 for cable franchise fees. And that's just because people watch TV differently, and cable services from your internet are not counted as part of a cable franchise bill necessarily. So that's part of it. It's like people are still using the cable company, but it's more for internet, less for cable services. So our franchise fee comes from that. We also looked in the last few versions at our some of our liability insurance, which have been increased. We've looked at the fact that we've had some increases in both our auto insurance as well. So in your May 22nd meeting, you made some changes, and we've reflected that in this budget. And so the May 22nd and 29th meeting, the council kind of did made some changes to where we kind of tweaked things by $1,000 here, $5,000 here and there. And that really kind of got us to where we are today. We've had some increases in our public safety grants that are reflected in this. We've also looked at decreasing some of our workers' comp. Our workers' comp actually came in less when we were putting it for more. That Vito was able to confirm in June. We've also been able to make some changes in our MEA grant, which allowed us to cover some salaries for administrative staff, which will, at first, what we had proposed in the last meeting was the fact that administrative staff would move from 40-hour a week to 37.5-hour a week. That was about $49,000 savings. What we're going to do is be able to charge some of that to our MEA grant. Both myself and Mr. Jeffries, I just want to call him Ray on the record, but I have to say his proper name. Mr. Jeffries and I both work on this grant, and especially work on on some of the green initiatives that we'll be getting through with it. So we'll be able to charge a portion of both of our salaries to the grant as part of and it was written into the grant already. It was just to hire a brand new person. And instead of hiring a new person for the 2 years, we'll pay for a half of a salary of the two of us, which will be about $49,000. Not half of our salaries, but a half of the salary that we had anticipated for that, so that we can utilize that, and then we'll probably use the rest for consultant services that will help us with any special projects for the green grant. So that's kind of where we are right now. We have a balanced budget for you. It's going to be a tough year. I'm trying to be as confident and as hopeful as I can be with this budget year. We just don't know what the federal government will do. We don't know what impacts that will have on us. I think the one thing that we've seen are shifts from the feds to the state, and then the states back to us. The state has been great with doing grant processes still, but we can't really depend on them for doing those. We're going to try to get as many of our CDBG dollars spent this year, because it is probably going to be less in the future in the next few years, so that you'll see this might be one of the last years you see CDBG as it is. We have not been issued a CDBG grant yet for PY 51, which we applied for. And I think that's because the county's waiting to see what HUD's going to do and how much of grant funds will be available in this last fiscal year with the rescissions in the current budget. So everything that was in the budget previously, if there's no huge rescissions, which is what we're hearing in the news, is that there may be a list of rescissions that the administration may put through for certain items, are there. So we've got a couple items on tonight's budget that we are actually pushing forward to show that so that we can do contracts, so that those funds don't get rescinded so by the feds. So those are the kinds of things that we're dealing with. And I just wanted to kind of give council that kind of, it's not political, it's not, it's no kind of statement, it just is what it is. So I just wanted to kind of give you where we are. But staff worked really hard on this budget. I'm really proud of staff for the work that they've done. Police, the Chief Collington, has been helpful throughout this process. He's found ways to find budget savings from the police budget, which is our biggest portion of our budget. He when asked, he's found about $300,000 that he's found through small different cuts other places because he has more than a $6.5 million budget. So I will say that I'm extremely grateful to the police department for the work that they've done. And we've all done this together. And then the person sitting next to me in the pink, I'm thankful to him for all the work that he's done on this budget. He's been working really hard on it, and we've gone back and forth several times on different iterations. So if you have questions for the guy in the pink, he's up to talk to you right now, but that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Town Administrator. Treasurer Tonelli, is there anything you'd like to add to that overview?
I mean, as the Town Administrator said, it's been, as you all know, it's been a process. So we're really done here. Just it's, so it's. Oh.
I want to echo what was stated, though, by the Town Administrator. We know this has been a more in-depth process this time around. Additional meetings were added, understanding what's happening with the economic outlook for the coming year, and some of the things that have already happened because of decisions at the federal level. And so I just appreciate the collaboration from the council as well as the staff. There's been some tough conversations and back and forth, but I think it was truly helpful. And also want to note, we planned 12 meetings and had a 13th meeting on Friday, May 9th, to just give the council an additional opportunity to ask questions, go through the budget, make sure they were clear with everything. And so that's why I want to just make sure I acknowledge my counterparts on the council, Councilmember Blunt, who's with us online, and Councilmember Dixon as well, who could not be here, to just appreciate all the effort that's been put in and all the tough conversations and just looking at things 1,000 different ways to try to get the town to a good balanced budget. So did the council have any other comments or questions as it relates to the budget before we move forward? Councilmember Brown.
Thanks, Mayor. And Mr. Tonelli, and I think it will be good to with these property, the real property tax rates and those rates that have been increased, they are consistent because we haven't had those increases over how many years, and then they're kind of consistent and level setting with kind of the industry standards or something where those numbers are. So,
Actually, we looked at what the other municipalities in the county were doing as well, and some of them have 3 and 4 and 5 different tax codes, and they have been increasing, and we haven't increased our taxes or separated our taxes out as far back as I can go, and that's at least 15 years, 18 years, and before that there's just no digital records without going through storage and seeing everything. So but there's a first real change that we've had, but it's amazing we've operated this long without having to do it. I mean, it really is. I mean, because most other jurisdictions are changing theirs every year, and it's been great that we have not had to do anything up until this year, but now I think everybody is being forced to do something now. So it's I want to say it's across the board, but from what we polled and what we looked at, everybody is trying to do something, unfortunately, so, but again, this is just a snapshot in time. This all could change, a few months, a year. So, but right now, it's just trying to be conservative and plan for what we know right now.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, great point, Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Blunt, let me just look online. Any comments or questions from you for Mr. Tonelli or Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth? Okay.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Councilmember McBride?
No, I just want to thank you for what we have done and the fact that we haven't had to really do tax increases, in this time. I mean, this is what life has brought us. But yeah, but I thank you. I'm grateful for where we are.
And so procedurally, tonight will be the second reading of the budget ordinance number 01-2026. We will do that in the council meeting at 7:15 and vote to adopt our budget tonight. So that is exciting news. That is the hot topic for tonight. Everything else is just mediocre. It's all about the budget, folks. So we'll continue on with the agenda. We do not have any items tonight under unfinished business, so we'll move right into new business, beginning with a community presentation, and I'll turn it over to our town administrator.
Thank you, Mayor Council. So this is a really exciting presentation. I think Eco Farms will be with us at the 7:15 meeting. But Eco Farms was awarded the FY 2025 Green Equity Grant from the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. And that's going to that's going to allow them to develop a 10,000 square foot community garden and classroom at Emerson 5801 Emerson Street, which is the elementary school. They've had a partnership with Port Towns Elementary, I believe that's where this is, for the last few years, but they haven't been able to really utilize that land. So this is a really great opportunity for community gardeners. It's not just going to be it's going to allow them to have some community lots where people are going to be able to grow their own food. And I know that's something, Councilwoman McBride, ever since I've been getting here, that you wanted more community gardening. And I'm like, when we saw this grant, we were like, we need to see if we could apply for it together. So we got this grant. What part of the process is that they wanted to do a public presentation. As part of the grant, they need to inform the public about it. And we'll be working with them collaboratively on getting the word out about the opportunity for residents to have community lots there, and for the whole idea of community gardening. So it's a really exciting process. Again, there'll be 8 to 10 large garden plots and 5 to 6 small lots. And if you have been ever familiar with doing this, it's that you're going to have your own plot, or you're going to be able to put what you want on it. You're going to do a plot rental, I believe. Usually that's how it works. The resident will maintain and keep up their lot, which is a lot of work because I'm a gardener. We were just talking about it. You're going to have to weed it. You're going to have to make sure that you keep it so that your tomatoes don't get overgrown by something, or you spray neem oil on your plants so that the bugs don't get your collards and all that kind of stuff. So the highlights of this is that this spring and summer, they're going to start the engagement in the design process of the actual garden itself. From fall to spring, they'll construct the garden, and by next summer, we'll have a garden launch and we'll have a new community garden open for our residents. So that's the project. We're excited. We're going to be working with Eco Farms. The money will go to Eco Farms. Thank God I'm not doing a pass-through to them. They're going to get the money directly, and they're going to develop this project. But the town has been very supportive, and will continue to be supportive of this project, like we are with all the projects at Eco City Farms, not Eco Farms, Eco City Farms. And I want to make sure that we do this. But that's that was part of my pledge to Margaret, was that we would do this on both of our agendas, and so that we'd have a public thing. So any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Just a rousing sentiment of congratulations to you, Michelle, and then also to Margaret Hubbard. I know we met with her several months ago. She came to us wanting to get more engaged with the town, and so the timing of this, I'm thankful it didn't take a year. After that conversation, you jumped on it right away. I'm not sure if you heard the cheering section to my right, but there was lots of yes, yes to my right from our gardener on the council. So Councilmember McBride, I'll come to you first. Any comments or questions regarding this opportunity?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank you for your hard work. This has been an effort for some time for me, and I really wanted this the community garden for our residents to be able to grow their own fruits and vegetables, and also, so FYI, my next project is a market.
And I want to just acknowledge you've been a part of COGS farm committee for quite some time and coming back with ideas for the community. And so it further demonstrates why participating in COG, being able to get ideas from other communities on what's possible is so important for the town council. So thank you again, Councilmember McBride. Any comments or questions, Councilmember Brown or Blunt?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. I don't think this is. I pushed it and it didn't pop on. Thanks, Mayor. I think this is a great opportunity, and I am willing to partake in any of the vegetables that are grown. You know, I'll give a little donation or something, but I'll be gladly to participate in it and receive some of those nice, fresh grown vegetables. But thanks for the hard work. Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Blunt, who also is on the farm committee, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, and here at Emerson House, we have 45. But I was asking Michelle, for the community plots, you said you have a large plot, but in essence, how many people can get a plot, whether it's large or small, or do they break it down, cut it in half? How does that look?
So, Councilwoman, I know that part of the design process will kind of ferret out at the total number of plots, but right now I think it looks anywhere between 15 and 12 to 15. Well, it says 8 large and 5 to 6 small, but I think it'll depend on what they get, because they're going to have a community input process, and if they have, there's some use for smaller or shared plots, or like a community plot, but for Emerson House or something where you get a large plot and then people kind of do it. I think that's what they want to hear. And part of the DNR process is to get community input on what type of plots will work best for the community members. And just to kind of go back with the mayor and what she was saying about Margaret still has a list of things that I still need to do. So I am not done with Margaret and Eco City Farms. I just want to make sure that I'm clear about that on the record. She's got a whole list of things that I still need to do for her. But Councilwoman, that design process, I can make sure that we make sure that we promote that at Emerson House and at all the Parkview and all the places, because we're going to need community input on the number of plots and how they're distributed.
Town administrator, to add on, Councilmember Blunt, the proposal also noted that they anticipate the project will be able to accommodate approximately 8 to 10 large plots, and those were specifically called out for more experienced gardeners, whereas the 5 to 6 smaller plots were designated for beginners. Yeah. But I think in those public meetings, that's where we can give input if you think, or the council or other residents think that we would need more plots for beginners versus the larger plots. So I wouldn't say this is set in stone. This is her idea, but she does want to hear from us.
Okay, because I know with the larger plots, if it's shared, because you have at least at Emerson House, we have 45 plots. We don't need any more here.
Right.
And our residents shouldn't have to venture out, because it's a lot of plots here to make room for people who do want to garden. But trust me, it's going to be different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole essence of these gardens. I think the one other thing that we'd need to look at is, I mean, this will maybe start demand. We'll kind of set a demand level for the town, and there might be some other opportunities in which we can develop more community garden space. So we are really looking at this as more of a starting place.
And to that point, if we get success with this project, then it gives us the basis to go back to USDA, who also has funding for projects like this, to say we need more. So I think we just have to show that the residents are really taking advantage of it, and there's the demand, so we can go after more money.
No, they will. They will. And you will see the nationalities and how they got so different. You're going to have to put some curves on it, because it's different. Some might use a fence. Somebody might use a tree, but that should be really coated. But again, I do like it. I do like it.
Thank you for that. All right. Great update. Thank you for that, Town Administrator. Continuing with new business, we have item B, which is Resolution 30-2025 regarding the Port Towns collaboration, and I'll turn it back over to you.
So there are two resolutions. This is one of the first resolutions on your agenda today. This is an authorization to apply for grant funding from DCHD. One is for the Strategic Economic Development Fund, and the other one is for the is in regards to the National Capital Region. Additional community legacy funds. One is for the facade program, and the other one is for wayfinding and signage. We're working with Tom Lickey and what can I say? The resilience committee. What is they're called? Some common resilience. Guys, like community resilience. Something we're resilient. That we're working with them on the application. So we just would like the council support in this resolution so that we can apply for grant funding.
And I do appreciate that you and the other town managers and administrators are jumping right on this, knowing we are formalizing and finalizing the paperwork for the new CDC, getting this in place so that we can immediately start getting some funding to help the port towns with these projects. So definitely appreciate that. Any comments or questions from the council before we move forward? All right. Sorry. Go ahead, council member.
Sorry, but I need to go back and say this. Back on the farm, with the plots, I want to thank the mayor because last year I had them interview the mayor, and I also had them interview Miss Margaret. So that played a great part in opening up their understanding of what Prince George's County is doing as far as the farm committee, and they were very, very pleased with Miss Margaret. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I've forgotten all about that. Thank you. The facilitator, the great facilitator. All right. So again, just closing the loop on resolution 30-2025. We will vote on this in the 7:00 meeting, but it is in our packets, and I'm sure the council has already reviewed the details of that. The next item is resolution 31-2025, which is quite interesting with the surplus disposition of items. So is that the deputy chief combination with town administrator?
It's a combination.
Okay.
I'll let myself and deputy chief. I had given it to the chief, but he's on. But so I'm gonna. So deputy chief, if you need me to, I can take lead. But you can also add whatever you'd like to this. So this is a resolution to declare items surplus. And we have this, and I would like to thank Ms. Watson because she has gotten us started on Gov Deals, which is an online auction program. And as she's already started this process with our vehicles. What we're doing is expanding this to surplus items, other surplus items. And we were able to check out their website, and Chief and I met and looked at what they've done in other places for items like jewelry, coins, and just anything. They sell everything and anything. Like if you have, old bikes or, hoverboards or gators or things like that, you can, the gators are like the golf carts, the heavy duty golf carts. But anything you can imagine, they sell. So we were able to vet them for this, for being able to sell some of our other surplus items in the police department. And what this is there's a list that we've attached to the main item that has the list of those surplus items. We'd like permission to declare those items surplus and to be able to sell them online. And I will pass it on to the major.
Trying to work out with the title on that, but I know that we're moving along with that.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. And I'm sure you're not sad to see all this surplus or all these surplus items being removed, taking up space. As I was going through this list over the weekend, I could not believe the amount of stuff that gets accumulated from these seizures. And who's to say how long those things have been sitting over there? So I applaud you and Chief Collington for working with Ms. Watson to just formalize this process and get those things out of here, create some space. We're already maxed out with the amount of space we have and the number of human beings that we have to, provide workspace for. So Sean is shaking his head too. Every little bit helps. Great, thank you. So that completes item C under new business. Next, we'll move to item D for contract approval. And I believe this is Ms. Watson and Mr. Hall for Taussig Street, the Calvert Ready Mix agreement.
We're like, who's gonna take it? Who's gonna take it? Hello, Mayor and Council. So me and Supervisor Hall, we had 9 submissions for the sidewalk project. We actually got a really good rate for this project that we're actually going back out to RFP for other streets because we still have more funding. Mr. Hall did meet with the top 3. Well, we did with the top 2. The third one we decided not to. And we're confident that Calvert can do this project at the price that they're giving us. And I think the reason why the price is so well is that they own a lot of the material, like the concrete, and as well as do the labor. So we're able to get a really good deal on this this project right here. And next week, hopefully, we'll put another RFP out and get some more sidewalks done around the town.
Mr. Hall, anything you want to add to that?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council and residents and staff and also audience. Yes, as Ms. Regine said, we really concentrated on the scope of work that was provided to us by our engineers, and that's basically what we were going by. As Regine said, we had multiple contractors out there on site with us, and a lot of them, instead of basically what the job basically is remove and replace. Okay, remove sidewalk and replace sidewalk as in kind, except when you come around some of the utility poles, you have to be ADA compliant for anyone with any type of disability or whatever, has to be able to commute safely on our sidewalks, not on every sidewalks, but when we start to reconstruction any portion or any section of the sidewalk, it has to be up in compliance with the state of Maryland. So that's what we're doing right now. And what Regine said, we had a concrete ready mix came in at $65,115.80. DIR came in at $96,449. And also Alcoa came in at $100,073.23. But Alcoa is not including the fence repairs. We have 3 structural fence that's going to be impacted with the layout that we have to do to become ADA compliant. So that's why we had to eliminate those. The contract, the bid was for any structural that's impact also be replaced as in kind. So,
Thank you.
yes,
And
ma'am. There any?
no,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
ma'am. No.
The other thing I noticed too with the replacement of the sidewalk, so they're responsible for contacting Miss Utility before they begin work. That's not on you and
No,
your
ma'am.
team to have to take care of that.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in cases where the grading is off, because in some situations people have planted these trees, those roots go up under the sidewalk. So now it's not just a matter of replacing it because the roots are pushing it up. Are they going to charge us if they have to fill in a little bit more to level everything out?
Good question, Mary. But no trees are impacted in this
Okay.
location right here. But the question, to answer your question, is a lot of construction and everything. Most of the time, you're going to come back and you're going to have to add a little money here and there. That's just part of construction. Because you can say our engineer can give us 10 feet. When we get out there, they do 10 feet. It is not compliant. So you have to do a little bit, change orders. I'm sorry. You have to do a little bit more. So, and it's good because the price that we're getting, we have room for change orders. But I don't want to be, doing change orders throughout the whole, project. No, that's not the case. But we do have a little wiggle room for a couple of change orders. And what you're gonna come into any type of construction you do with concrete, anything you run into change orders too as well. But what we try to get them to do is get it closest to the bid as possible.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
And then Mr. Hall, before, as part of the interview, after the fact, he did walk with all the contractors again, one more time to make sure they understood that this is what they're charging us for. And they agreed, yes, we're going to do exactly this for this price. So of course things can change, but they did walk one more time after the before we even made this recommendation to the council.
Perfect.
That's correct. We had 2 site meetings.
Yep.
And that's good to know too. And given the CDBG funding, there's a balance in there because they came in so low. If there are change orders, we'll still be under budget for the overall
ma'am.
project. So we'll be in good shape. Any comments or questions from the council regarding this particular contract?
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, just real quick. I mean, great job, and especially with the funding. But when I'm looking at the looking at the submissions and the cost range, it's just like it's, so varied. So like you said, hopefully when you do construction, there's a little change orders that do happen, but because the cost that they gave us is like a great, really, really great cost. So hopefully they can, do it for that, close to that, and not have much overruns.
Trust me and Pernell thought the same thing when we seen it, and we're like, really? But we did a lot of research on the company. We found out because they own other companies are going to have to go get the concrete. They're going to have to get this stuff. This company is basically, they own the concrete, they own everything, and that's why they're able to charge it, because they're pretty much charging labor only, and some other stuff. Well, the other companies have to use a third or a second part, because we thought the same thing, trust me.
Okay.
But we're excited. Hopefully if this goes well, we'll be able to do a lot of our projects, if they can keep winning these bids, and we'll have a good contact for upgrading, Bladensburg streets.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions from the council before we move forward? Okay. And the next item is contract approval for repairs to Boswick House with Colossal Contractors for the wash house stabilization. So I'll turn it over to the administrator.
Thank you, Mayor Council. So this one is the this is a grant that we've gotten from Maryland National Capital Park and Planning for $50,000 to repair items at the wash house. Some of it is the pointing of the brick and concrete. Others are some of the windows. Again, this is a historical certified company. This was reviewed by both Mr. Our architect that is working with us on contract, Will Kaywood, and Sam Parker. Sam got the grant for us for this particular item. We recommended this. We got 2 bids. We put out the RFP because of the historic nature of it. We usually don't get more than 2 or 3 people because of the fact that a lot of people don't want to do this kind of work. So it's actually a fair bid. The other one was for $59,000, and we had to kind of cut things out of it. This one is actually $49,500, which puts us right at the repair amount that we need. And we do recommend Colossal Contractors, Inc. as a responsive and responsible bidder for this particular set of items.
Thank you for that overview, and also for your patience, because I do understand these are the projects that are so much harder to get people to bid on because they don't have the patience to do the historical preservation component of this. And that was one of the questions I had in going through the packet and looking at the references they provided. It wasn't clear if any of these were historic sites. So it's good to know they're certified to do these particular types of projects. I did know when they're taking things down, how they have to remove the paint and so forth. So it does give a little bit more confidence that they will handle the materials appropriately and then also preserve as much as they can to reuse, which is always important. Council members, are there any comments or questions regarding this particular contract approval? Okay. Okay. And so for the residents, this will be voted on at the 7 o'clock meeting under financial business, I believe. Councilmember Brown?
Thank you. Are there any projected timelines?
It'll happen this summer because the funding for this is tied to this fiscal year, and if we want to apply for more funding, we have to spend it as soon as possible. So I was hoping this would have been done at our last meeting, and we received this bid, and I held it back so that we could present it fully to you. So yeah, so once we get an approval, we can issue a contract and it can get started.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And then just want to note the business is also based in Maryland, and they're also a minority owned business. I'm not sure if everyone saw that when they were reviewing the packet. All right, so that completes that particular item. We'll move forward with contract approval for phase 2 of the street lighting project. This is part of PY 49R funds, and we're so grateful to get this tranche for the second phase of that particular project. So Town Administrator, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mayor Council. So for the second phase, we asked for $100,000 from CDBG because this is leftover money. The PY 49R is money that wasn't spent by other agencies and is capital grant funds. So when you make a request, you kind of make rounded requests. So we made a request for $100,000 to try to get us there. Actually, this funding, this bid and the bid, because we only got one, but the bid came in lower than I expected because the last time we spent $150,000 for 10 lights, and we still had to do some new runs. This is 6 lights for $107,950. What we've also asked this contractor to do is that there are some Pepco rebates that are applicable. So we're asking for up to $109,950, $91. And hopefully we'll be able to lower this cost some more. But any excess funds would be from the highway user account to get this completed. But this will get us 2/3 of the way up 57th Avenue and help to complete this project. I'm still submitting more grants out there for other opportunities to try to finish up this lighting. But the council started with this project with $150,000 from DCHD back in 2020, which we implemented last year. And so this will then allow us to get these in this summer for the timeline because they have to be done fairly quickly. And so the residents will see a improvement of new streetlights going up one side of the road. Part of the delay of getting this to you was because we had to do a new engineering contract to get the wiring because we'd engineered the whole 30 lights, but we then had to get a piece of it for 5 to 6 lights because of the funding. So we had to get a new set of engineering plans. So that's why it took us a little bit longer, because we had to get the engineering plans, and not a lot of engineers want to do this kind of small work. And there's actually not a lot of engineers that do lighting work, which was a whole other issue. So so we're asking for your approval of this for Lighting Maintenance Inc. as a responsible and responsive bidder for the CDBG project for $107,950.91. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the council? Just on page 2 of 2, as you get down to the terms and conditions, I noted they commented on what happens if we as the customer breach, but do we have any recourse if they breach the contract?
We actually have a contract for them where it has a breach contract. So
Okay.
we'll issue that to them as well. And they signed it last time. So we've worked with them before and they were actually very good. They actually did the first set of lighting for us, lighting maintenance.
Okay, so it's a consistent.
So it's a
vendor.
consistent,
Okay.
yeah. So we'll have the same consistent lights, same consistent contractor, to be honest with you.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, so that completes item F under new business. The next item is G, contract approval for the Green Mechanics Benefit LLC, which I am thrilled about. Town Administrator.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. So this is a contract with Green Mechanics Benefit LLC for 2 green bus shelters using Maryland Energy Administration funds for up to $60,000. These are, again, grant funds that we received to build 2 green bus shelters. One will be at the corner of Annapolis and Edmonston, right in front of the Checkers, because that currently does not have shading in front of it. So that will be a green bus shelter. Part of the green bus shelter will have a green roof, but it also will have a charger, a solar panel, so that people can charge their phones, and they'll have a nice place that's cool to sit. If you notice now at that corner, that's the only part that's not, there's no trees or it's not shaded. So it will actually be an amenity, and there's a lot of people that use that bus shelter. And we've gotten permission from Joe Rodriguez to put that there. When I applied for this money, I said, "Can I put a bus shelter there?" And he said, "If you get the money." And so when I called him a year later and said, "I got the money. Can I put it in?" He's like, "Yes." So we're really excited about putting that in. The second bus shelter will go right here in front of Town Hall on our side of the street, so that it can be a model. There's actually a setback for the green bus shelter. The only issue that I have, if we end up ever tearing this town hall down, that we will figure out a way that we will not impact the green bus shelter, or figure out a way to move it to another location if that's possible. But I think that having it here at Town Hall right now would be a really good opportunity for the town, and actually shows off the green infrastructure. So that is this project. I recommend Green Mechanics Benefit LLC as a responsive and responsible bidder. They were the only submitter. We actually did seek submissions from a second contracting company, but they failed to send us in a quote for there. The town of Edmonston did these green bus shelters with Operation Arts, and we did engage with them, and they answered everything. We met with them and did everything for the RFP, but they never submitted. So we did engage with 2 bidders at least, and we've had it out on the website. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And those in the community who are familiar with the Bladensburg waterfront will notice Green Mechanics also has a project there to help clean up the river. And so they have the mollusks in the baskets, and they basically take in the dirty water, cycle it, filter it, and then spit it back into the Anacostia, basically. So they did a demonstration when we had the students come a few summers ago at Bladensburg House, and we set up a model of how their technology works and informed the students about it and got them excited about sustainability. So Green Mechanics is no stranger to the town of Bladensburg and our sustainability efforts. So great that they put in a bid. We were able to also see the bus shelters at MML last year, for those of us who went into the exhibit hall to see how it works. And similar to the importance of green canopies, tree canopies, these will also make it more, a little bit safer for the residents, especially on these hot days when it is stifling heat and humidity, particularly in July and August, because those plants actually cool and absorb some of the heat. So for those folks who do have to take public transportation, they can just be a little bit more comfortable. Not everyone's blessed to have their own transportation. And so it's good we are able to provide this technology, but also be consistent with our sustainability goals. So thank you for moving this project forward, and look forward to supporting it in the 7:15 meeting tonight. Next, we have the award of funds. Yes, Councilmember Brown.
So Mrs. Bailey Hedriff, I'm sorry, what's the timeline again?
So the timeline for this is actually this, once we do the award, it's the design of maybe 2 or 3 months. They should be in maybe, hopefully by the fall. If the latest, they would be in next spring if there's any, because of the planting. I forgot to mention that Green Mechanics has already done a project like this in the city of Baltimore, which they've already done with it. So once we're able to meet with once we award the contract, we will meet with them and we'll get a refined timeline, and I will share that with the council. It'll also be shared with the public because of the fact that we have, we've been working on this for our green team for a while, so it'll be shared widely. But I'm hoping that we get it in sooner than later, so that we can, this fall to early spring. Okay. Thank you.
And if you want to see it, when you're coming down Edmonston Road and you make the left on Decatur, once you cross into Edmonston and you make the right to go toward their town hall, it's right there on the corner. because a lot of the students use it for bus shelter for the school year.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just in case
Go
you want to
past.
take
Yeah,
a
I
peek.
do. Because I was like, what is it? I
Mhm.
wonder what it looks like. So yeah, that's good.
Okay. Councilmember Blunt, I'm sorry, I did not look at the screen earlier. Are you good? Or okay. All right. Next, we have item H, award of funds. And tonight, the council needs to review and approve the awards for the nonprofit organization serving our residents. I'll turn it over to the town administrator.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we have 6 community organizations that submitted applications. One is CareSen, which is the Central American Resource Center, that they provide legal services. The second is Eco City Farms, which is going to go to their farm operations. The third is GHEP, Global Health and Education Projects, Inc. They want to do the community diaper distribution program. Good Intentions, which will be doing the Growth Youth Mentorship Series. And the last one is This Goes Boom. They would like to do some events in Bladensburg. Actually, I sent out to the council that they'll be having some community music events in July. And this will help to pay for some of the sound systems for them for the $2,000. So each grant is for $2,000. Each organization has actually filed an extensive application for $2,000, and we have them all on file. And and we lead by example. Sorry, I forgot. I'm sorry, you're here. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Susan. It's on the second. Okay.
It's all good. It's included in the summary. It
It
just
is-
wasn't in the
And
list
then my
on the
other
cover
page, my first page. We lead an example. Yes, $2,000. Sorry, and they are I cannot believe that they are a community program which teaches leadership and development for youth, and they have been very active in our community as well. So those are the 6, correct? Not 5, 6. 6.
Yes.
The 6 awards totaling $12,000. Staff is recommending all 6 for approval. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not all 5. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Councilmember Blunt, I see your hand.
I'm going to GHEP. I see they have a diaper program. Do they have an adult diaper program as well, or is it just for children?
I believe it's
I can't hear you.
sorry. Whew. They haven't. I believe it's just for children, Councilwoman. I don't think it's an adult diaper program. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, if when talking with them, if you could see if they can look around, because there is still a diaper program, it's still diapers. See if they ever or know an organization that do have the pens for adults.
We can do that. We can.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, we can do that. We can get more information to see what they're actually doing, so that if they do have some adult diapers, we can figure that out. But yeah, that's the community diaper. That's what they submitted. So I don't know, Mayor Council, if anybody else is more familiar with GHEP, but that's what I'm familiar with from them.
No, just from not personally, just from the write-up. I understand they've done the same program in the town of Riverdale Park, and the focus has been children under age 3. So diapers just for those under the age of 3 years old, and then also some hygiene items as well. So I think they gear more toward the families, Councilmember Blunt, versus the senior needs. But as the town administrator said, we can certainly check in with them about that need.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Councilmember McBride or Brown, any comments? Okay. All right. So we again will take that up for a vote in the 7:15 meeting. And then the other item on the agenda for tonight is the discretionary funds of the town council. I did share mine with We Lead by Example. And as I noted previously, Councilmember Dixon had a flight delay, so she could not get here. So we'll have to follow up unless she's provided hers to you. But I'll just work my way down the list. Councilmember Brown, did you have an organization that you wanted to award?
So I'm still discussing it.
Okay,
Is
so
that okay?
given to,
Yeah.
well, we have to do it tonight just because.
Okay,
we
yeah,
have
I'll
to
make
vote,
it.
But by the 7 o'clock, y'all have
mhm,
time
yep,
to
yep.
check in. Okay. Councilmember Blunt.
Yeah, I have an organization, Chloe's Room. She's it's not, I think it's Nishana Turner. She has an organization here, in Bladensburg, which have done plenty exhibits along with the, CATS team by sitting up and, doing a lot of domestic things. So, I think it's the first time. So Chloe's Room, I have the information if, you all need it.
Can
She's
you
a
please
nonprofit.
send that to Mr. Tonelli so he can cut the check, please?
Sure, I sure will. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. And Councilmember McBride.
Okay, Councilmember McBride is going to give her $500 to the Now Foundation.
Great, thank you. So we have Chloe's Room, Now Foundation. We'll check back in with Councilmember Brown at the 7:15 meeting, and then we'll just need you to follow up with Councilmember Dixon once she's back in town. All right. That is the final item on tonight's agenda, and we are now at the end. So I will call for a motion to adjourn.
You sure we don't have much?
Ma'am, don't drag it out. Let's go. Let's go. Don't nothing else. Do you know how many of these up to the minute? We're like, it's 6:59. We gotta adjourn. We've been going too long. I see Councilmember Blunt doing a little rock there, so let me not get in the way of anything. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember McBride. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Any comments or questions before we call the vote? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
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 Any nays? The ayes have it. We're adjourned and we'll be back at 7. Thank you.